Today, let's talk about Dr. Joseph Juran, a guy who literally wrote the book on quality management. Now, he wasn't an architect of buildings. He was the architect of a philosophy that completely shifted how we think about quality, moving it from a problem on the factory floor right into the boardroom. So how did he do it?
To really get why Juran's ideas were such a big deal, we have to go back in time. So before this whole quality revolution, what did quality even mean to the average company? It wasn't something you planned for, nope, it was something you dealt with after everything was already made.
So the old way of doing things was, well, it was simple, but man, was it wasteful. You'd make a huge batch of products, and then inspectors would come in and check them. The ones that were defective, you'd either try to fix them or you'd just scrap them. This whole idea of inspection and rejection meant that waste was just accepted as a normal, unavoidable cost of doing business.
But Juran looked at this and saw a massive failure of management. He came along with this transformative idea. He basically asked, what if we stopped defining quality from our own point of view and started defining it from the only one that really matters, the customers?
And this was his answer. So elegant, so powerful, just 4 simple words. Quality means fitness for use. This wasn't just a new definition to memorize. It was a completely new way of thinking that reframed the entire conversation.
So what does fitness for use actually mean in practice? Well, Juran said it comes down to 2 key questions. First, does the product's performance actually make the customer satisfied? And second, is it free from flaws that would make them dissatisfied? The crucial thing here is that both of those questions are answered entirely through the eyes of the person actually using the product. Okay, having a great definition is one thing, but you need a plan to put it into action. And that's where Juran developed his most famous framework, the Quality Trilogy. This became the practical, step-by-step blueprint for any organization that wanted to seriously manage for quality. And here's the genius of it. To make his ideas really stick, he based his trilogy on something every manager already understood inside and out: financial management. Think about it. Quality planning? That's just like budgeting. Quality control? That's like measuring your expenses. And quality improvement? That's just like cost reduction. By speaking the language of money, his ideas just clicked.
So this trilogy has 3 interconnected processes. First is quality planning, which is all about designing quality in from the very beginning. Then you have quality control, which is about keeping an eye on things and fixing problems as they pop up. And then you have quality improvement, and this is the breakthrough part. This is about systematically digging down to find the root causes of problems and wiping them out for good.
This chart right here is really the centerpiece of Juran's whole philosophy. It tells a story. On the vertical axis, you've got the cost of poor quality, things like scrap, rework, you name it. And along the bottom, you have time. Let's walk through what's happening. So, when things get started, there's this baseline level of waste that's just kind of baked into the system. Juran called this chronic waste. Then you see those sharp spikes. Those are sporadic problems, like a machine suddenly breaking down. The quality control teams rush in, they put out the fire, and they bring things back down. But notice where they bring them. Right back to that same old wasteful level. They're just firefighting. They're not making the system any better.
And this is where the magic happens. Quality improvement is not about firefighting. It's a focused effort to figure out the root causes of that chronic waste and get rid of them permanently. This is what Juran called achieving a breakthrough.
Now, look at that chart again. After a real quality improvement project, that whole baseline of chronic waste drops dramatically. The company is now in a new zone of quality control. Costs are permanently lower. Quality is permanently higher. This breakthrough level becomes the new standard.
You know, one of Juran's most powerful insights was realizing that to get top management to listen, you couldn't just talk about defects. You had to talk about the financial impact. He always insisted, money is the language of business.
So he created and championed this concept of the cost of poor quality. By taking things like rework, scrap, and warranty claims and putting a hard dollar figure on them, he made all that waste visible to the executives. This wasn't just a metric for the shop floor anymore. It was a C-suite problem that was hitting the bottom line hard.
And the results? They were just staggering. By putting these ideas into practice, companies saw incredible benefits. The sources we looked at point out that, in some cases, product failure rates, a huge cost of poor quality, were slashed by as much as 80%. That is a massive impact.
Honestly, it's hard to overstate Juran's influence. His thinking helped shape the post-war Japanese economic miracle, and it laid the foundation for modern methods like Six Sigma that are everywhere today.
Let's just hit a few key moments. His journey really took off in 1951 with this Quality Control Handbook, which is still considered a Bible in the field. Then in 1954, he made that famous trip to Japan, teaching their leaders how to rebuild their industries by focusing on quality. And in 1986, he officially published the Quality Trilogy, cementing that framework for generations to come.
It's really interesting to compare his approach to his contemporary, the famous W. Edwards Deming. Deming's philosophy was seen as revolutionary. He wanted to throw out the old system and start fresh. Juran was more evolutionary. He believed you could work to improve the system you already had. And while Deming championed statistics, Juran, as we've seen, focused on money to get management's attention.
So if we boil it all down, Juran's philosophy really has a few core messages. First, quality doesn't just happen, you have to plan for it. Second, when failures happen, it's almost never the worker's fault. Juran argued that over 80% of defects are caused by the systems that management creates. And finally, every single problem is a golden opportunity to get better.
And that brings us to a final thought. Juran's ideas are just as relevant today as they were 70 years ago. So the question I want to leave you with is this. As you look at your own work, your own processes, where is the chronic waste? And maybe more importantly, what would it take for you to lead a breakthrough?